Tonight's call takes us back to a quiet afternoon in 1955 in the small town of Westmoreland, Tennessee. A man and his friend were driving down a rural road just another ordinary day until something above caught their attention. Something unusual, something they had never seen before. What they witnessed that day would stay with them for the rest of their lives. Was it something explainable, like a weather balloon drifting through the sky? Or was it something far more mysterious? Something not of this world.
Paranormal Payphone.
Welcome back to Paranormal Payphone, where we always answer after midnight, and that's because we're the payphone, and we're awesome.
I like it.
You like that one?
I like that one.
Yeah. I figured we'd kick it a little old school for everybody on that one.
You are cursed.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Listen, you doubted Danhausen's legitimacy in the WWE.
I did initially, but he's fabulous.
He's amazing.
He's the best.
I'm telling you, I can't get my wife on board with the idea of very evil, very nice. I'm like, no, it's a good evil. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So the Mania spot didn't win her over?
Oh, the Mania spot won her over, but I mean, just the catchphrase. She's like, I can't buy the kids a shirt that says very evil, very nice. But all that to be said, we have another amazing phone call that came in, and this one is a little bit of a blast from the past.
A long time ago.
Yeah. And that's coming from two old men that say that this is a long time ago, so you know it's got some distance on it.
Way before we were even wee lads.
That's true. That's true. This is probably, a whole 30 years before we were even around.
Yeah.
So the amazing thing about this is the fact that I guarantee you this story does not exist anywhere else.
No.
It is purely going to be something that exists here in the Paranormal Payphone universe, which is amazing. And if you want to join the Paranormal Payphone universe, all you got to do is call 615-431-9003. Let us know your story. Or you can hit us up at paranormalpayphone@gmail.com. Any of the social medias. Guys, we're doing so much better than I could have ever imagined on social media. We're over 2,000 on TikTok.
Yep.
What are we on Instagram?
I don't know. In the hundreds somewhere.
Yeah. Fantastic. And we're close. We're coming up on 100 YouTube subscribers. If you are not subscribing, you could be the one that brings a tear to my eye when I see it come up in the morning. So just know that could be you. And if that is something that's intriguing to you, hit subscribe.
Yeah.
But back to this phone call.
And I want to put a little disclaimer out before we get going.
Okay. It's always good to set the bar low.
Set it. We don't know what we're talking about here. No.
Listen, there's going to be a lot of disappointment involved.
Yeah.
You know, what is this? What are we doing? Go ahead.
No, we're not scientists.
Really?
Yes. And we have never worked for NASA.
I've been telling people the wrong things for years at this point.
I just, there's a lot of them bad things happening to these people, and I just want to make sure that there's no doubt.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Doubt,
yeah.
They may think that you are.
Yeah. Did you actually hear that they put a new step to the scientific method?
No.
It's called duck. Get out of the way. Go ahead. No, there is a lot of stuff happening with scientists right now, and it's a little alarming because seemingly that would have been the safest career path you could ever be on. But now we have more and more that are coming up missing. And a lot of this isn't like recent.
Yeah.
It's all because of the CIA probe into this that they're starting to put pieces together.
Yeah. So this past week, David Wilcock of Ancient Aliens and UFO researcher, unfortunately unalived himself. And what was weird with this for me is that he put a video out like 24 hours before. And I know this is like a hot topic right now, so a lot of this information is just kind of redundant, but about his concern for these scientists that were going missing, how he loved life. And it was just really strange that 24 hours later, he's gone.
It is super strange. And the fact that so many of these reporters are going, or these scientists are going away in different areas, different places, but they all have a very specific field of study that they're all involved with. Yeah. And so that's what really makes it even worse is They're all either NASA related or alien related or some sort of space research.
Yeah, like gravity propulsion, nuclear propulsion. A lot of these scientists were all working on the same things, like free energy, which
Yeah.
has gotten people taken out in the past.
I mean, Nikola Tesla is the most famous
Drum
one.
gun, yeah.
You know, he obviously had the way that the coils could send the electricity and power wirelessly.
Yeah.
And that very quickly became something that no one wanted to have happen. And so he was no longer with us. So the fact that there are involved in this.
Yeah, and every day it seems like there's another story opening up. Like you were saying with the CIA involvement, they are. Sorry the way you're looking at me.
I'm just waiting.
Like
I'm just waiting for you. Yeah,
skeptical eyes over here.
Because it is a little skeptical.
Yeah.
There is something to this. I don't fully trust the information that's coming out because it's coming from the source that it's coming from.
Yeah, and like one of them was this Joshua LeBlanc. He was a NASA engineer.
Yeah.
Working on the nuclear propulsion, and what that is to take our space program further out in the solar system, Mars, beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And so this came out about his autopsy that he was reported missing a couple hours after leaving his house. He left, similar as the other, left his wallet, his phone, and his dog, I think, behind at the house.
Do you often take your dog when you leave the house?
I never take my dog
Okay,
anywhere.
go ahead. All right. That one seems
that
okay.
makes sense, but not the wallet and the phone. But then he's gone for a few hours, and so his family puts out a missing person report, and they go into he had a Tesla, so in their Sentry program they can track where they're at, and he went to the Huntsville airport and sat for 4 hours, or his car was parked there for 4 hours. He had no trips planned. And then the car leaves, they pick it up, go in, and he crashes into a guardrail, into some trees, and is burnt beyond recognition. There was no signs of anything going on with this guy.
That's so strange.
It's very weird, right?
Yeah. I mean, what do you even do at the Huntsville airport for 4 hours?
I didn't even know Huntsville had an airport.
Like, that's a lot of trips to Annie Ann's
Yeah.
to make in one stop.
Yeah. Annie Ann's is great, though.
First off, it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The pretzel dog, I don't want to say changed my life, but it may have changed my life at one point in time. But to think that they had he had these plans, like clearly he planned on coming back.
Yeah.
That was the point of the dog. But one thing that I did think was very interesting with some of the other ones is they all left their wallet at home. They left their keys at home. They left their phone at home. Now, one thing that we know is that they can track you by your phone, whether you are using it at the time or not. What is there within the rest of the things that we carry around with us all the time that they're able to locate and track on that would make them leave that stuff at home?
I guess depending on the vehicle, the type of vehicle you have, they could have some tracking. If you got some GPS or whatever, the OnStar,
Yeah.
you can be tracked by that. What do you got?
I'm even thinking about stuff like the pilot that was recovered in Iran that went down, the fighter pilot. Yeah. They used something called like the ghost whisper, the ghost heartbeat.
Oh yeah,
to find him. And so they tracked him using finding his heartbeat in the mountain through some sort of technology. So when you have a chip in your card that you're carrying around with you, what is there that they can pick up on to track you down from that? If they could find you with a heartbeat, how much easier would it be carrying a chip?
It's insane, the technology that's out there that we have no clue about.
100%.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of people get down on a lot of the alien and the UFO and the UAP, because there is so much out there that we don't know about. And there's so many things that are in use in every day that we just can't even understand. So to think that they could be using something like, and these people that are in the know are willingly putting that stuff down, setting it aside so that they can try to get away.
Yeah. What do you think these aliens are?
That is a really good question. I think there's a lot of different possibilities, and there's a lot of theories out there, whether they are the fallen angels, whether they are some sort of other creation.
Can I tell you one I heard?
Oh, tell me what you heard.
I heard that, and this is from Mr. Tom DeLonge,
Okay.
that he believes that we all time frames are on the same level, I guess, like past, present, and future are all happening at the same time.
Okay.
And that potentially these aliens are us, where humans have integrated with AI and they're in the future, and then they're coming back to our timeline to either change things or something. It was kind of weird.
They're doing a Terminator?
Yeah.
They're here doing a Terminator right now?
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah.
It's all lining up.
They're coming back to warn us like,
Yeah.
hey, where's
Where's John Connor?
This is not working out so well.
Yeah.
You know, where's that short-lived TV series that was on Fox? Nowhere, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
And so, did you ever watch that? It was terrible.
No.
All right. So, no, that is a theory, and that whole, like, the idea that the three timelines are in existence at the same time.
Yeah.
I've heard that about the Mount of Transfiguration, that people believe that when Jesus was talking about Elijah and Moses,
Yeah.
that it was something that was happening all at the same time, as all three of them were in a conversation with God at the same time. And it's just that timeline lining up.
Yeah. It's so wild, man.
Listen, there's a lot that I don't understand, and which is why I feel like I am pretty safe from this scientist thing. You know, I feel like if you're going to come after smart people, I'm good.
Well,
like, you know, I'm way down the list.
I figured our disclaimer covered us there.
Yeah,
you know?
I think the
Just in
previous
case.
18 episodes
Yeah.
covered us there. They're like, hey, these guys watch a lot of pro wrestling. I think we're good to leave them alone for right now.
Yeah.
But to continue down a little bit of the scientist rabbit trail here, is we do have a little bit more news too.
Oh, yeah?
Is now investigations are coming out, and Chinese scientists are also coming up missing
Really? Are they in the same field?
in the same field,
Okay.
in the same space UFO time and matter field, and now they're coming up missing.
You kind of wonder why. Like, why all of a sudden were they about to whistleblow about information? Is the government trying to pull, there's always Project Bluebeam. Are they trying to cover that up? Or was there something else about to happen that they were going to bring out, and you got to take these people out? So
Was it something, were they close to a breakthrough that was going to do something that they couldn't ignore anymore?
Yeah.
You know, would they have the UFO ships that they've reverse engineered, or have they been the government this entire time, and now it has to come out? You know, are they the fallen angels?
Yeah.
And they have to let this out there because of letting everybody know there is an existence of God.
Yeah.
You know, or were they going to blow the roof off the Annie Ann's pretzel dog and really throw everyone down a spiral? You know,
Yeah.
Did you know, speaking of Annie Ann's, this is my last pretzel related comment, possibly. Do you know that they do breakfast?
No, I didn't know they were
I tell you
open.
what, you get to an airport early enough, Annie Ann's breakfast, much more solid than you would anticipate it being. Very unreliant on the pretzel. I was like, is there a pretzel bun on this? And they're like, I mean, we can do that. I was like, I feel like we have to, right? Like, that's what we're here for.
So they don't have any pretzel buns? Or
No,
pretzel
it was
wrap-
just-
like
it was
an
just-
egg wrapped in a
It
pretzel?
was just a regular breakfast.
Really?
It was still delicious, but I did feel a little bit let down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare you?
See, this is why I bet you the Huntsville one. I bet you that's what.
I bet
yeah.
That's
They're
why I
like,
was there for
yeah,
4 hours. Yeah.
He's like, guys, listen, they got the pretzel McGriddle coming.
I know a spot.
Yeah, I know. I know a spot.
Yeah.
That could have been even taking aliens there. listen,
Nina,
guys.
we're going down there.
Listen, I know you're from the Horseshoe Crab Nebula, but until you've had a cinnamon pretzel, my friend, you have not lived.
Incredible.
All right. Let's get into this phone call before we get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Brandon and Steve, I'll tell you what happened to me back in, I don't know exactly the year, but I think it was around 1955. There was an individual there in the country where I grew up at, out of Westmoreland, Tennessee, and it was, he used to pick up riders in his automobile. It didn't have buses back then, and he would pick up riders and would take us to school. And so one morning it just happened to be me and him in the car, and we was riding along on this back country road, and it's, of course, early, like one morning, and we happened to see up in the sky this silver, looked like a silver dome type thing. I don't know exactly, just kind of, it was scary looking, and we was looking at it as we was driving and kept following it, and it was just, it looked like it was trying to land or something. It was coming down, and we thought, well, we might be able to get to it, but it came down and went down behind the large bank to where we couldn't see it, and that scared us to death. And that is the only time I've ever seen anything like that. And I don't know if it was a weather balloon, but it didn't look like that. It was different than anything I'd ever seen before or since then, and that's always stood out in my mind. And I don't know what it was, but because we never did find it or never did see it or never heard anything on the news about it either. But I know I saw it back in the 50s, and it was it scared me as a child. But anyway, I don't know what all was going on up there. I guess I'll check it out, and someday somebody will find it out.
Okay, Steve. Short and sweet, to the point.
Yep.
What do you think?
There is so much that I can't even comprehend is what's going on around there. Yeah. So we have this occurrence that happened 1955.
Yep.
He's riding to school
in an automobile.
And he sees a silver dome.
Yeah.
Now, the very first question I have, has anyone ever seen a weather balloon? I don't know that I've ever seen. Yeah. I've heard a lot of things blamed on weather balloons that I have never seen. I mean, like Men in Black 1, they blamed weather balloons on everything. I've never seen one.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I think I have more faith that Sasquatches are real than weather balloons are at this point.
Wasn't there something like a few years ago where it was during Biden's presidency where our government shot down a weather balloon they said they were spying on us, but they blamed it on the Chinese?
Yeah, because it was...
Still didn't see it.
Well, no.
Yeah.
That was super interesting, though, because it flew low enough to where radar doesn't detect it and slow enough to where like nothing else was going to pick it up.
Yeah.
It might have been the perfect spy operation, to be honest with you. It could have been the reason some of them scientists, But,
yeah.
So we are here, 1955. No school buses.
None. Well, this is Westmoreland too. I don't know if you know much about Westmoreland. Probably there wasn't a bunch there the last time I went, and that was in the early 2000s. So I can't imagine how much further back we were in 1955.
I mean, that's math. We can figure that out.
Yeah.
But it's
good.
Yeah, just throwing that out there for you.
Not a scientist.
Not a scientist.
Mathematician.
Hey, he's on the school buses, guys. Go get him. They figured it out. Go get him.
Go.
All of a sudden, people start cabling
Lights
in.
Go out. Yeah.
So we're talking 1955.
Yeah.
He's riding to school. There's a guy in the town, seemingly who had the largest vehicle in the town, is just picking up the kids and taking them to school.
Yeah.
Talk about a different time. Can you imagine some dude in a big vehicle, a van or something, it's like, hey, come take your girls to school.
Yeah.
Just being like, sounds good. All right.
That was back during the time no seatbelts were, I'm not even sure they had seatbelts.
Probably not.
In cars at this time.
No, probably didn't.
People just laying up on the dashboard and just anywhere you could fit a kid.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever do anything a little precarious like that when you first started driving?
Never. Me?
No?
Never.
So I used to have to take, when I got my license, I used to have to take my brother to school. That was part of the deal. And so he invited like 6 people. And so we would have 2 or 3 in the trunk of this Focus because there was a pull latch in there. And so they could pop it open and jump out. The principal of the school was not very thrilled. And so when we got like a block away, we, bang on the back seat and they'd pop it out and jump out so they could go walk the rest of the way.
Oh.
That is slightly safer than what's happening here in Westmoreland at the time.
Yeah, I think so. And I did think about something I used to do, and I'm kind of coming clean here to my mother. She would go out with one of her friends and she would leave her car keys behind at the house.
Okay.
So I was like 14, 15, on the cusp of being able to drive legally, but I would go get her car and just drive around the neighborhood. And yeah,
What kind of car?
it was a Ford Explorer. It was an Eddie Bauer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pimping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which brown color was it?
It was the brown at the bottom and it was like a dark navy blue up top.
I'll tell you what.
I love
That's
that.
nice right
Yeah,
there.
It was.
I've actually been looking recently at picking up an old 80s Bronco too,
Oh, nice.
because they have not gotten expensive yet. Like you can still get one for a
Yeah.
couple grand, and they are as ugly and terrible as I remember them to be. And I love every second of it.
How do they not flip every time you go around a curve?
I actually own a flipped one somewhere.
Do you?
It's in the woods, and we flipped it, being safe. And my buddy popped open the glove box. And he goes, "Hey, sign this real quick." And I signed it. He goes, "This is your problem now."
Brilliant move.
Brilliant move.
Yeah, brilliant.
I was
Yeah.
like, "But what would I do?" He goes, "I don't know. I guess that's for you to figure
Yeah.
out." And I was like, "I guess it lives here. I don't know."
Thanks, man.
But so if anyone finds a Bronco 2 in the middle of the woods flipped over, it's mine. Send it back my way. So they're coming over the hill.
Yep.
They see this silver saucer type thing, like the classic pinnacle of an alien spacecraft
Yeah.
coming down the hill.
Yeah. All during this time, the Roswell crash was in 1947. So around this explosion of UFO sightings across the United States, the frenzy's probably still pretty wild there. So
And you had a bunch of different sightings, not only the Roswell, but Mount Rainier had a couple
Yeah.
sightings in 1947 as well. So this is like kind of when things really started kicking off.
Yeah.
And this happened in unison with like that dawn of the nuclear age, right? As
Right.
soon as we started testing nuclear weapons, started firing nuclear weapons, all of a sudden here comes these craft that people are seeing.
yeah. And it seems like the United States has the largest reported UFO sightings. How is that? Why is that?
Mostly nosy, I
Nosy.
think,
Yeah.
like other countries, they mind their own business.
Yeah.
And like here we're like HOA. We're on
Yeah,
everything,
you're
you know?
right. Yeah.
But actually, a lot of South American countries have a lot of sites. I think Ecuador, Brazil, like that area has a ton of UFO sightings. Peru.
Yep.
And so it is interesting that it seems to be, at least in the Americas, has
Yeah.
a lot of sightings. But there are other sightings other places as well.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just a matter of us reporting it the most, or us looking into it the most, or
Or is it our government is putting more and more things out? Maybe we're more technologically advanced and people are getting confused with what they're seeing. I
could
don't know.
be? Yeah, it could be. Or it could be that like these Chinese scientists that are coming up missing right now, this is just the first time they've been reported. Like people could have been reporting it for years over there, and well,
Yeah.
it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Such a wild thing, man.
It is. A couple other things that happen around this time, which are kind of cool and kind of interesting to point out, is the fact that you had like Betty and Barney Hill had their abduction right around in the early 50s, I think 51, where out of the New Hampshire area, they were one of the first abduction cases that happened. So, we have sightings beginning in 1947, Roswell, Mount Rainier, kind of in that western area. But we do have cases where we had abductions and things like that occurring over on the eastern seaboard. And so it is interesting and cool to note the fact that he probably did see something.
Yeah. And they tried to track it,
Yeah.
tried to chase it down, lost sight, and looked like it was trying to land. So I'm wondering because there's another regional legend in that area too with the the white thing of Westmoreland.
The white thing of Westmoreland.
Yes.
Is this a real thing?
This is apparently a real thing. Now, whether it's just local folklore or tall tale or what, but people have reported seeing this thing, and it's described in different ways, usually pretty tall, like a pale crawler.
Okay. Now, paint me a word picture here because I'm not 100% sure I understand what you mean by a pale crawler.
Tall and white and
I mean, like a redheaded baby? Like, what are you talking pale crawler? like
like a ghost looking thing.
Okay.
Man. Yeah.
All right.
Like that kind of white. And these things move really quickly
Okay.
and they screech and scream really loud. So some people down there are saying they're like bobcats. Some are saying, like the screamings. Others are saying it's this thing, man. And there's been cow mutilations, which would go down the historical UFO sightings,
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot. I mean, what if they were dropping this thing off?
Could have been.
What if they saw that?
I think down there it would have been a white thing
A white thing.
of Westmoreland, but it could be. But another thing to point out is a lot of these UFO sightings do occur
Yeah.
around different cryptid hotspots and different cryptid areas. We have, even as recent as those Ohio sightings, like those Bigfoot were migrating, and next thing you know, here comes all these UFO sightings. Here comes all these meteors. Same thing that happened in Rainier. Same thing that happened in a lot of the different parts of the country. So doesn't go without saying that this could be related in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and the first reported sightings of this thing, it was like in the late 40s, early 50s. So it coincides with that timeline.
Ah.
So, yeah.
How depressed would you be to find out that we're like the aliens version of Australia? And we're just like this prison colony where they just drop all these. They're like, what's that white thing doing? I don't know. Let's take him to jail.
Yeah, let's take it.
You mean Earth?
Yeah.
Like,
No, Westmoreland.
Westmoreland.
Yeah.
We're just a prison colony for the galaxy. Like that would be, I think that's the most depressing out of all the scenarios.
Yeah. Well, we said that before when they're cruising through their solar system, they roll up the windows and lock the doors as they're going by Earth.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure I would.
Yeah.
Basically anything out there, we're going to take over.
Yeah.
I heard tell about them talking about putting a base on the moon.
Yeah. Heard that too.
I don't know how you feel about that. Like at that point, I feel like Transformers is coming. Like,
do you think, okay, so during the first Trump administration, he established Space Force.
yeah.
Now, second Trump, we're disclosing UAPs, UFOs, aliens. Is there something that he's trying to do here?
As
I
far
don't know.
as far as
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking there's a lot. He's enamored with space.
he is very enamored in
Yeah.
space. The worst part about the Space Force is that the TV show for Netflix, Space Force, was already filmed when he had already announced it. So they're like, we just have to put it out at this point. So it is interesting that he is kind of the first president that's really space forward like this. And it makes you wonder because you also think like it's the first time we're going back around the moon. It's the first, allegedly.
Yeah.
allegedly. If you subscribe to that round ball crap. No, listen, I don't know. I'm not a flat earther. I love to hear him talk, but it is interesting to think that this could be him letting something out there, and there could be a reason why a lot of these scientists are going up missing. And it all started back in 47.
Yeah.
1950, 555, that with old
19 and 55.
19 and 55.
Yep.
Where we're hearing these crazy stories about seeing these things.
Yeah. This is such a simple story.
Mhm.
But how many people have seen things like this? Just a simple, hey, we see something, we find it in the sky, and then we're trying to chase it down.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've looked through and I didn't see any documentation of this. I didn't see anything. This is the type of thing that when you start to put these pieces together, we start building these patterns, and building these recognitions. And now we have a cryptid.
Yep.
And we have a UFO sighting all in the same area. And we're starting to build this pattern and build this bridge to an understanding. So as we're picking these pieces together, without that story, we would never have that.
Right.
We would just have the white thing of Westmoreland rolling around, mutilating cattle.
You think they've got Annie Ann's in Westmoreland?
I bet you if they did, he wouldn't go for those cattle. Listen, it is amazing when we start putting these pieces together and we can kind of see where things are going and building from there. The only thing I wish we knew is I wish we knew how it all tied together.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting there.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It's all coming out.
Little bit by little bit.
Yeah. Just be careful if you're a scientist and have ever worked for NASA.
Listen, if you're one of the people that follow us and you are a scientist, like check in every once in a while. Just make sure we're okay.
Yeah.
You know, I want to make sure you guys are doing good. I want to make sure that you know that I am not a threat in any way, shape, or form. And we just want to make sure that
Or smart.
or smart in any way, shape, or form. We want to make sure that you guys are all checking in and taken care of because that's what we do here. We look out for one another.
That's right.
You know,
Putting these stories together.
that's right.
Piecing the puzzle together.
We're a payphone family.
We
around
are.
here.
We are.
And hopefully that keeps us alive just a little bit
Just
longer.
a little bit
right?
longer. Yeah.
So if you've got any stories you want to send our way, you can call 615-431-9003. Email us at paranormalpayphone@gmail.com. Hit us up on any of our socials, guys. We are so close to breaking 100 on YouTube. We are so close to coming up on 3,000 on TikTok. Like every little bit helps. And the more we get out there, the more stories we get out there, the closer we build these connections. And that's what it's all about.
That's right. So until next time, who are you going to call?
That's Paranormal Payphone.